Hello, my dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome to the show. It was last week. We had a concert, and the concert was very well attended. Concert was sang by a 17-year-old girl who won the Carnegie Hall two contests, both gold. At the concert, and throughout the whole thing, I was asking myself, oh, by the way, that was a charity concert. All the proceeds goes to charity. So I all of a sudden raised myself a question, how are we going to teach our young people, right? Of course, academically, they are supposed to be doing well, and anything else. Okay. And then I started this conversation with my friend, who is my beloved guest, Dr. Manjun Jiang, Marina Tse. And she is a professor at USC, and she was the former Assistant Deputy Secretary of Education Department of the United States.
Correct.
And yes, and I share my thoughts with my friend Richard Anderson, who is on her right, who is her lovely better half or worse half. All right.
She's the better half.
You're the worst. I know we're all the worst, right? Richard Anderson, director of Hollywood, an Oscar winner, and nominated for many times, but the winner one time the least, right?
Right.
And they happen to share the same thought, same concept with me. So that's why the three of us today sit here to talk about it, about quote unquote education, the education that we want our kids to be educated with. So to both of you, welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. All right, good. I would like to have the privilege to do a formal introduction, to give the microphone to you, to let my audience know who you are, please. May I?
Sure.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, I have always been an educator and started being a public school teacher. After many years, and I started working for the state in special education as a commissioner and a chairperson, and
California State.
California State.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And after that, and then I had a quite important position as a state board of education, the California State Board of Education, which administers and also make decisions for 1,042 school districts in the state of California with at that time with 6 million students, and in all category and all item, because as you know that we don't actually have a secretary, and so we have a 11 member, the board member. From that standpoint, I kind of understand the standard and then the requirement and curriculum and all the issues in the state of California, and also made decisions with other board member, and the decisions are all final. And then at that point, and I learned how to make the best decision, how to do the best research, and that lasts for several years, and until the year 2001, and I joined the Bush administration and President Bush administration with the U.S. Department of Education. I was very lucky to assign to a position in charge of the bilingual students in the nation, which is about 5 million students. And my job was to implement Title Title III. And Title III, it's under the No Child Left Behind, a new
No
title.
Child Left Behind, all right.
And then which it's the first time ever issued, the Congress authorized the whole nation to assist all the bilingual students in the nation. Bilingual student does not mean Chinese students or Korean students. It means that any students who speak another language and need the assistance to it. So we provide the tutorial program and grant money and for different school districts to help them. And after that, because of my education background, and I moved into a Department of Labor, and then as the head of the West Coast, and one of the major duty I would enjoy doing is to put educational training, professional training development into the system, into in different prisons, and to help the prisoner to learn a skill. Or we have Job Corps to help the student to learn 14 to 24 years old students, and who want to learn the job skills, and plus different training program and different facility. As I made the job 2009, and I got off the Bush administration and established my private foundation, and it's called International Education and Leadership Foundation. We kind of incorporated the world's different countries' demand in different topic, and address different issues, and then do the education services for students, professors, and institutes.
And on top of that, you are a professor at USC, and you still teach. Am I right?
Yeah, I am. They call it adjunct faculty, which means that I teach a special program.
I see.
And then they have professional development special program, and I teach whatever topic they demand. They want me to address. And such as last week I was talking about the structure of the Department of Labor.
As you may see, she's a professional about education, all the way from ground up to the state, to the federal, and then all the way to the foundation and all the way to USC. She knows education from head to toe. Am I right?
Most of them.
Okay, and there's another one who knows her from head to toe. That is my friend Richard Anderson, a Hollywood director, right? So can you please briefly introduce yourself? Because lots of my audience do not know you, and do not might know you as a couple, right? So let's do some little introduction, please.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been making movies since 1970 something. And
all right.
I have a big background in post-production mainly.
I see.
But now I'm getting back to do the thing I wanted to do when I first started, and that's make my own films. And so I'm developing projects.
Very
we
good.
did a film last year called Behind Bayonets and Barbed Wire about American POWs who were sent to China by the Japanese during World War II to be slave laborers.
The barbed wire, that film, right?
Right, right. In fact, it's opening today in China in 100 theaters.
Opening today in China as we speak.
As we speak.
All right, congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
We only interviewed other soldiers who
we'll do that.
Yeah, I think we did a show about that last
year. We did one show for that. But today we're not talking about a film.
Right.
We're talking
today
about,
we're talking about
education. The way I put them together, not only because they are a couple, because I really wanted from a educator point of view, and also from a Hollywood director, from a filmmaker's point of view, right? To see how important education is, to dissect our education, existing education, to see the status quo, which are the elements we are proud of, and we shall continue being proud of, which are the elements that we feel sad, which are the elements we have lost already. There must be some that we have lost. My dear audience, today's show, I put a lot of efforts on today's show. I know both my guests are very busy. I dragged them out of their busy schedule to push them to do the show because I said, please do me a favor, do our young people a favor, do posterity a favor. All right, let's take a very short moment now. When we come back, we open it up, we do the dissection. Please stay with us. Hello, my dear friends, my lovely audience. Welcome back to the show. We're talking about education, where and how we will want our young people to go. With me today are my two old friends. We go back for many, many years. We have Dr. Marina Tse of USC, an educator and a former secretary of Assistant Secretary of Education Department for United States of America, and former State Education Board member, and also now she has devoted almost half her life in education. Right. Next to her is my friend from Hollywood, a director, an Oscar winner. Of kind of a director, lots of directors. I'm talking about the Oscar winner kind of director. Yeah. The both of them, Richard Anderson.
I wish I won an Oscar for directing. My Oscar was for post-production.
No, at least winner. Grammatically, I'm not making a mistake. Okay. Oscar winning director.
Okay.
Right? The director whoever won Oscar, right? So now, to both of them, welcome to the show, and to my audience, let's opening up the box, see what's inside. All right. So let me ask you, or both of you, separate answers. I don't know. Why would young people look around the world at any cost, at some cost, some kind of heavy cost, coming to the States to be educated? There must be something with us, with our education system. There must be something that we hold our pride about. We are proud about, right? So, what are those? Why? Please.
There are several advantages that our educational system has. We are more towards all-around education, which means a person is good at being exposed at a very young age in arts, sports, entertainment, and academic skills. So, because in order to enjoy your life, or in order to be creative, in order to be able to understand your surrounding and appreciate everything you have, and then create something new or enjoy life, and it has to be all around. So in our curriculum, and we have arts and music, in sports, physical education, and science and arts, equally important. And it started from preschool, and a lot of preschool, and they are not teaching math and reading. They create creative thinking skill, and the creative thinking skill, it's a different way of approach, which is, and it's like the when you're very young age, you're being put in an environment to go to the museum and to or participate in different activity, and they gain the knowledge from inside. Once you gain that knowledge, and then if you have one knowledge, you create a bit of 10 instead of just memorization. And that's the whole picture of American education. For example, I'll give you a very good example. And college freshman and sophomore, the first 2 years, we're still talking about not your major. It's a general requirements. The reason we do that, and some students, the British system, you started major in accounting on 18 years old, freshman. And then, but in the United States, the system, it's a freshman and sophomore. The first 2 years, you're still taking different classes in different area, like high school. It's like repeating high school, but it's much broader and more profound. Myself, I got my bachelor degree also within the American system. And what I realized is that much broader. For example, they ask you to take classes in natural sciences, take classes in humanity sciences, and science and arts. And I have to take arts and sports. So in the age of 19, 20, I have to pick a sports to learn. You like it or not. So I pick a sports, and then I have to pick arts, music to learn. Why? I guess the main reason to open up your mind in all directions.
In other words, she wants to say that our system cultivates our young people in a broader sense from all areas, right? What's your take? Why people, why young people, why the parents send their kids here?
Well, like she was saying, it's not just about memorizing the Norman invasion was in 1066 AD.
Equations.
But, which I see here, I remember that. But the point is, it's more about what does it mean? Why that the Normans invaded England in 1066 AD, and then besides your job, which is often very, very narrow, that you to really enjoy your life, you need to have a broader sense. Like in my profession, motion pictures is obviously there's a lot of technical stuff, but there's also mainly about art. I do writing, we do camera work and photography, editing, all these sort of things. But it's also historical. Like I told you, the film I did last year, I have to know about history, World War II, and
that's
things
exactly
like that.
why I insist, Richard, please come over. Because you can tell at your job, in your position, what kind of knowledge it is required, right?
Right.
It is almost everything.
Right.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Almost everything, right?
By the way, I'd like to add something to what she said, and that is about talking about college. The first 2 years is I thought I was going to go into medicine. So my first year of college, that was my intended major. But then I switched. In movies was kind of my hobby, so I switched into that. Decided to do that during my first year of college. You don't necessarily know what it is you want to do.
That
going
makes sense.
into college.
That
They
makes
give
sense.
you the system give you 2 years, and for you to look or pick classes saying, do I like to be engineer, or do I like to be a chemist, or do I like to be a counselor? So they kind of give you time to explore.
Right.
And plus, literally, I think your childhood, how your mother brought you up, and then like going to the museum to see Picasso at 4 years old, and then going to the library and read, your mother read to you, or going to movie and going to different trip. And I think that very young age you're exposed to a free thinking and a free exploration, right?
Exactly. So the overall cultivation of our young people is the American education as a first character. Am I right?
That's why we have so many new discovery, because it's the environment had to be free.
Yeah, all right, okay. We probably want to take a short moment. When we come back, we shall find out what are lost, and how are we going to keep on the tradition to overallly educate our people, our young people, right? So, my dear audience, today with me is Dr. Marina Tse of USC, and she is also she's a former Assistant Secretary of Education Department, and also, well, importantly, she was the 9th District of Labor Department of the United States, right? All right, so very good. You have more hats than you can wear. And next to her, her lovely husband, Richard Anderson, Oscar winner, a director of Hollywood. So both of them are sharing their thoughts with us to see how important education is. If you want to survive as a nation, you might better have a good education. We do have good education. Are we still holding the education as good as it was, as good as it has been? Question. Stay with us. Hello, my lovely audience, dear ladies and gentlemen. Well, if you happen to be parents, probably you will like this show a lot because it's a discussion with professionals. It's a discussion with my dear friend, Dr. Marina Tse, and the director, Richard Anderson, talking about our education versus our young people versus our time. So, like I said, we have a question. We know we have a good system. Are we still having the good system, or we used to have a good system? If not, what has been lost? Are we still having the say? And you were saying that we educate our kids from overall vision. Are we still doing that?
Being a public school teacher for many years, and I have seen that we often cut budget or cut subjects, and then art education, music education, PE, the budget, the first thing to be cut. And one of the main reasons is that our academic skill, our students, they're not up to the par and up to the standard. And another reason, so they put more money into that. And then the other reason is that no longer that it's a very basic requirement. So a lot of art education or culture education or music education are taught at home. But if the home is not providing it, and then it seems to me it's not as important as my generation or our generation back, and the balance of a person, balance a person's education opportunity and also exposure, and to that, so the culture today, a little bit tend to be different, and to in terms of art, music orientated, maybe going to a direction not so all around anymore. What do you think, Richard?
Okay, cut sounds to be the word, right? And that's an ugly word because my wife cut her finger last night. So cutting is a very bad word. I know that. So cutting education is even worse word because the consequence is going to last forever, last longer, at least longer than you can say. So what's your take about the cutting, about the shrink?
Well, you know, the problem is there's only so many dollars that we have to spend in any one thing. So if you're going to spend more in one area, obviously you have to take it away from somewhere else.
You're right.
So it's just a matter of someone in the state or the federal or whoever, the local has to decide what's priority.
Well,
and obviously education
is not always.
In California, what do we spend? About half the budget is spent on education?
Yeah, more than about 60% of the budget is spent in education. However, Richard, it's a demand of the society. If it's a society today, and thinking music is the most important element of our culture, it's a cultural question. And then the school district or the government will provide the money.
Okay.
Now, we have money in different areas.
Education money is state money, right?
The education, 90% or more is the state money.
And then federal gives you the 10%.
8%,
7 to 8%.
However, the direction is coming from Washington, from the United States. But the state decide education.
We have money for the bullet train. Right?
Why don't we have money for education? That's my question.
Do we need a bullet train first, or do we need, which is more emergency, more urgent?
To me, education is everything for the society, for all countries, and for the world.
Okay, very good. That is probably the answer, right? So, Richard, I'll give you an example. You know, film festival, right? The Chinese American Film Festival. Every festival,
every year.
I'm the one on the red carpet. I'm the MC, right? And there's one day, there's one festival. There was windy outside, and the stand of that big boom box, kind of shaky, like that, rattling. And there's a reel, the metal reel by the steps, and the reel's going like this, and the pole holding the boom box is like this, vertical, right? And I asked one of the interns, they all high degree interns. So I said, get some duct tape, tied up. And then when I travel around, came back, I said, you tied them up? Yeah. You know what how he tied it up? Here is the reel, right? He tied the reel itself. And here's the pole. He tied the pole itself, and they're rattling us before. I was like, oh my God, education. I didn't ask him. I was asking, did he go to school?
Common
At
sense.
all.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's common sense, and that's the thing I see sometimes is there are people who are very educated, meaning they know all the facts and figures and you know, quadratic equations in math and all that thing. But like you said, if you something like trying to hold two poles together, they don't get the concept.
Observation.
Dr. C says it's a common sense, right?
Right.
And
I mean,
then,
you don't even, in theory, need to go to school.
Of course, you do not need to go to school to learn that. Question is that somebody after out of school even loses the common sense like that. Does that indicate the system was a failure, or at least it failed him?
Yeah, I think that's bring up to another major education objective, the purpose of education. And then education can come in from parents and from sister and brothers. And then, but one thing we need to learn is to learn to get the essence of something. You know, you said
skill.
People, they have to be able to think. What do you want? You want to stop the rattling noise. Therefore, I need to do that. Even it's not exactly your direction. I have to know how to make a decision and stop that noise. It doesn't matter what instruction.
That was a small incident, but it's as big as a thunderstorm to me. Okay, now she said exactly. Dr. C says exactly the point. The head of the nail is that. Why is he asking me to tie them up?
Yeah, we make the decision. You give me directions, stop the noise. I make a decision how to do that.
Okay, to be better,
That's called leadership.
Yeah, to be better, saying that he's supposed to be the one to find out it would be better if somebody wrap them up,
right?
And then goes to find a duct tape and do the job. And I would have surprised her, say, "Oh my God, you did a good job," like that. And now, upon told, looking for the duct tape and come back and had it tied up.
It's a goal. The goal is that
it's
stop
so
making the noise.
interesting. Yes.
And then from A to B, and that person make a decision. What's the best way? It's not you.
See,
You just
the
say,
education
stop the noise.
philosophy.
Yeah,
Okay?
and then
Right. In theory, you should have just said the poles are rattling.
Go do something.
Do something.
Do something about it.
And
right?
it's up to the person to figure out.
That's a thinking skill. Thinking
skill.
Don't tell me just tie one hand.
And she says, and she just now says, even the vacation schools, right? Skill schools, teach them how to. Okay, now you can be a professor. You can be next to Albert Einstein. Okay, go ahead, do it. If you can't, there are still jobs to do, still ways to do job better. So those schools are teaching you how to do things better. Like I said, from goal A to B, and then there's a process.
The shortest line.
Right.
The line, right?
And that's another saying. You have to think outside the box. Like everybody think inside the box, but I have a better way, a different way to do it. As long as from A to B, I get to the goal, I'm able to do that. You allowed your people to do that, and then I am able to do that. Then allow thinking skill, and thinking skill is the most critical in the education system. And United States has that. United States has that.
But without money, who are going to teach? Right? You do not have the money to teach. Right? That's the problem. Right? So
but
that's
we
why
do have some money. I mean, like she said, we're spending
right.
60% of the budget of California on education, and that's a pretty large sum.
We
We
have
have
the money.
for the bullet train. I'm not typically going against the bullet train. I'm talking about
I know what you're saying.
Now that we have money for the bullet train, why can't we put some money to teach my intern how to tie the poles together?
You know,
Right.
okay, this is a good example, but how to tie the pole, it's not your job to tell them how to tie a pole. And how to solve the problem.
Yeah.
How to solve them is the teachers and parents, how they bring up a child to solve problem.
But back to
thinking skill.
Back to the crying baby.
Money to
Back
do
to the crying
skill.
baby. The crying baby is that we need the money to put that as a subject in school.
No, it's not a subject, it's a teaching process.
Yeah, all right.
Like if I teach a...
Call it process, call it project anyway.
Yeah. If I
right?
teach a history story, I'm not going to tell them to and then just memorize it. I'm telling them why and how, what happened,
All
and
right.
how are we going to
Okay.
think about that. So I'm not teaching them, and then I just introduce
Very
them,
good.
and they have to walk through the thinking process.
Exactly, exactly.
So at the
Thinking
end, they know
process.
how to make decisions.
That's what's missing.
Right.
It's a
All
whole
right.
teaching approach.
My dear audience today was an educationist, Dr. Marina T, and her lovely husband, Richard Anderson, from a life perspective, from a school perspective, me from a host's perspective. We tried to find out what's wrong with education. Yeah, we almost came to a conclusion that due to the cut, there are some necessities are cut off. Without necessities, you're going to see consequences. The consequences are that you, Jack Chow, do not even have somebody who knows how to tie the two poles, stop the rattling in the wind, okay? Now, let's take a very short moment out. When we come back, we'll give you a good example. Stay with us, please. Hello, my dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show. As a matter of fact, a discussion about the most important thing around you. Because if you happen to be parents, somebody's parents, though, you might be even more interested in what's been talking about. Today, we're talking about education. As a system, we found out there are money being cut off and off and off. There's a cut and a cut and a cut until we are cut to the bones. There is no music classes, no fine art classes, or a PE, maybe a little bit, something.
I'm sure there's some.
Right? There are some, right? There are some. And the other trainings are, well, gone because of no money. Our money, of course, we do have money. According to my friend Richard Anderson, a state has its money. The money is only money. It's a limited money. Limited money is still money, right? A better manager would stretch your limited money to cover as many areas as possible. Our worst one versus the worst one, of course, you know what I'm talking about. Now that my point is that now that you have money for bullet train from Victorville to Las Vegas, right? From Los Angeles to San Francisco, passing through the Bay Area, of course you will have money for education, for kids to learn how to going through, like Dr. Marina C says, going through the thinking process, right? In which you develop yourself. Now,
well, if we don't have education, who's going to build this bullet train?
All right, good point. Good point.
You know?
That's a very good point. That's an even more serious point. Who?
Right.
Using what?
I mean, because that's a high-tech thing. It isn't just
Of
like,
course.
it's like dig a hole, you know,
It's a super
move that pile
high-tech
of dirt
thing.
over to here.
You're right.
You know?
You're right. All right. I'm going to give you a good example. A week ago, we had a concert on a Saturday. Not a week ago, 3 days ago, by Sammy Sue. Sammy Sue is a young lady, only 17 years old of age. Won recently 2 gold awards of opera and aria singing at the Carnegie Hall, which I believe that's one of the supreme honor of this. On return, the first thing she did, she and her group did was a concert for herself, and it's a charity concert. All proceeds goes to charity, right? So my thinking is that to this is that exactly that's the way we want to teach our young people, right? We have our education specialist, Dr. Marina C. What's your take on that? About the significance of doing that?
James Sue has done and Selena have done a good job cultivated Sammy that and the creative arts.
Yeah, they both are the founder and the CEOs of EDI and company I serve, but I respect for what they do.
I do too. And then they have the vision of teaching their daughter to a performer in a different manners, different approaches. I have listened to, I was in a concert and then I heard that she's trying opera and popular songs and a ballad and all kind of approaches, and then with a different variety of singing methods, and that is creative arts.
Yeah,
creative
all right.
And you can't expect someone 17 years old perfection in certain way, but then I could see that she was very creative. She was very eager to express her feelings on different arts.
Exactly.
I think every parent should be like doing that kind of move the child into arts and free expression and being creative, and then from there and they'll be creative in any other areas.
The way I see that concert is that the parents focuses on one thing, that you should learn to love people before you can fly, right? Before you get totally fledged.
I agree.
Otherwise, you're underfledged.
Right.
Right. So now
there's
your
a
lesson.
There's a moral education
moral
too.
issue.
It's not
Okay,
just
exactly, Richard. I like the word moral. Now, we want our kids to be taught academically, artistically, and morally. Am I right? So that's a moral.
Yes.
That's a moral lesson the parents insist their kids to learn. It's a lesson, right? So now, do we have moral classes or moral subject in school now at the different levels? Or at the level?
I would say that in order the school responds to it, and the parents have to kind of encourage them or have to push for it, the board, and it's a culture. It's a whole society cultures.
Yeah, I know.
And what to emphasize? It's not the science, the iPhone. It's not the game.
Yeah.
They spend the time. They spend the time to doing arts and helping people, and then doing the subline and philanthropy, all these things. So our whole society culture, when they push a direction, the state, the federal, the government, all will listen to it.
I know. But my question was that I was asking, in today's education, do we have something as, okay, now Wednesday, 8 o'clock, Bungalow 82, moral class. I mean, a class on the curriculum. Do we have that today?
No, we don't have that. But however, the moral and then the creativities are being taught within the subject. So we have to train the teacher how to teach that. We have to train the student how to listen to it, and then also you set the trend of the how important it's music, how important it's creative thinking, instead of how important listen to rap music.
Yeah, sure. I may ask Richard the same question, because to me, a director of film is also a teacher, because a director of film teaches the audiences with different language, using different language, right?
Right. Well, we're telling a story.
Visual language.
We're telling a
visual
story.
Language. So to you, she raised the importance of moral lesson, right? How do you see the importance of moral lesson, please?
I think it's very important. You know, we have to train people how to get along in society. What's the right thing to do? And the right thing isn't just, go out and me. I'm going to make a lot of money. I'm going to drive a Rolls Royce or whatever like that. You're right. There's a lot of people that are very wealthy and feel miserable. They kill themselves. We've just seen that recently with some rock stars.
Oh,
who
yeah.
were beloved by their fans, presumably had a lot of money and things, and then they killed themselves. So obviously they're not happy.
Well, I vomited over that story.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Okay, I'll give you a joke, a very little joke. A guy at a restaurant opened the door to a mother and a son coming in. You know what the mother says? to the son, okay, keep a good score, or otherwise you end up like him. Open or door opener.
Right.
You heard that joke? That's not a joke. That's a true thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Holding door for courtesy for others, and this very other saying to her son, okay, you got to keep up your straight A score, whatever. Or otherwise you end up like him. So
I a little bit disagree here. I think every job has a purpose to it. Every service has a purpose to it. And
I know we're on the same page. We have no argument on that, right? So today,
that's why the vocational classes are important, because not everybody's going to be a chemist or a mathematician or something, you know, like that, a physicist. We need people who are plumbers and carpenters and all these jobs, because otherwise we'd have all these really brainy people, these Einsteins, but they wouldn't have a house to live in.
Yeah, you might be brainy, but your house will be smelly. Right, that's the thing.
Or you may not even have a house if you don't have carpenters and plumbers to build it.
You may not even have a bullet train.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. We're over time, but I'm so glad that we did what we are to do. To my dear friends who happen to be parents of somebody, even though you are not a parent yet, you plan to be a parent. And this is very educational. This is very useful to everybody. We owe the appreciation to my good friend, Dr. Marina C. of USC, and to her lovely husband, the Oscar winner and director of Hollywood. So we both want to be educator. I want to be an amateur educator.
We're all educators for our children. For our children and our community.
For your friends too.
All right, good. So we wave to the camera for a goodbye, but this is not the last show. We will come back sometime when we have time, all right? Thank you, my audience.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Bye, Jan.